When do you guys start using this?
We're live right now, just saying it.
Oh,
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Unstoppable Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Michael Crane. I got my guest, Matt Fleeming, today. You guys, we're in beautiful Santa Barbara, California. We were just on the rooftop. We're at our office space right now in our podcast studio. Me and Matt were up there getting a tan, talking about life, and just looking around at the beautiful scenery. And, it hit me, man. I was like, dude, this is the ultimate life by design. And the reason I got to this point in my life, having this freedom, living a life that I love, that I don't need to escape from, like literally doing what I want every day and making a living doing it, is because for many years and thousands of decisions, I chose to move towards this life. I chose to bet on myself. I took risks. I took massive action, and I didn't settle. And the best feeling in the world is when you're sitting in a place where you can look back on all your decisions and have so much gratitude because you didn't quit or give up. And that's what I want to talk about in this opening segment. It's like the power of not quitting on yourself. The art, the ability to not quit, the ability to persevere, whatever you want to call it. It's a key facet of success in life, because especially in entrepreneurship or business or in your relationships, a lot of people don't make it because they quit and give up on themselves. That's it. And I was having a conversation while I was on the rooftop with one of my coaching clients. He wants to coach, he wants to speak, he wants to follow in the same footsteps that I followed with so many successful people ahead of me. He wants to do what I'm doing. And he was like, man, it's hard. It's been a grind. And I know at moments he's doubted himself. He's thought about quitting and giving up, but he hasn't. And I just told him, hey, the only reason I'm here today, having the success you've seen, is because I didn't quit or give up when times got tough. And it's not easy, because there's going to be a lot of moments where there's adversity, there's financial stress, there's stuff going on in the economy, or there's external factors at play that are affecting you. But a lot of times it's just your own ability to withstand the stress and pressure and keep fighting and keep moving forward day by day, moment by moment. That's the determining factor. So, I mean, me and Matt were just up on the rooftop soaking up this beautiful sun in Santa Barbara, California. We're in the process of creating a really special life that a lot of people dream of, but they don't have the courage to actually pursue and create. So, Matt, I want to ask you a question based on that. Like, what do you think separates what's the difference between someone who does quit and give up on their truth, on their dreams, and someone that doesn't? Can you describe maybe some characteristics or some things that stand out to you that differentiate the two?
I mean, the person that I would think that would give up and on their dreams is someone that lacks discipline, lacks consistency, and lacks a vision. Right, the man without a purpose is destined to fail. So if you keep that vision in mind of what you want your life to look like, you have those really solidified goals in your mind at all times. It keeps you going on those days that you don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. And would you say people who like have rough backgrounds and face a lot of adversity growing up, maybe they develop that like grit? Because you see a lot of people right now who are successful, and they weren't born into money. They weren't gifted anything. They came from adversity. And it creates a special type of person. Like, not everyone makes it out of that dark place, whether it's addiction, stuff at home growing up, whatever, being on the streets, being homeless, going to prison. But the people that do make it out, I feel like they do really big, special things in life.
I think it's because they have an appreciation for life. Like when you know what it's like to have nothing, and then all of a sudden you start getting some things and start acquiring a little bit better of life, you just appreciate it. And with gratitude, it's a superpower, right? We talk about that all the time, and you just end up getting blessed with more, and you kind of become addicted to that. At least that's been my experience, right? Like getting addicted to bettering myself, kind of like how I was addicted to all kinds of other things that weren't so good for me for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I like what you said about people with adverse backgrounds. I heard something about the Navy SEALs. A lot of the guys that come in there that are like, college or high school athletes, the ones that you would think would be really successful are the ones that actually don't do that well, because they're used to always winning, right? It's the ones that were the underdogs that usually actually succeed in that. And so it's kind of like a good analogy for life as well.
Yeah. I mean, one of the main reasons that I've been able to create the life I have is because of the tough things that I went through growing up. It just changes your perspective. Number one, you do appreciate and have more gratitude for the little things that people overlook. But the main thing too is you learn how to train your mind differently. Like most people, life just beats them up left and right. Not necessarily because life is tough on them, but it's the way they interpret those events. So they talk negatively to themselves about what they're experiencing. They have a negative mindset, negative self-talk. They don't have positive expectations. They're just stuck in their own mental prison, and they don't even realize it. So when you're going through extreme adversity, you realize the only thing you have control over at some moments of your life is your thoughts and how you view things. So, like for me, when I was incarcerated, I had to train my mind to see the good when there was no good in sight. I had to train my mind to fabricate positive scenarios in the future when most people do the opposite. They fabricate negative outcomes in the future, and that's what keeps them stuck in life. So, there's something to be said about adversity and suffering and going through a lot of hardships. But what about the individuals that don't? Because you just said, the Navy SEALs that didn't have, those tough upbringings, but were gifted or athletic or whatever it may be. They didn't do as good as the underdogs. So, what would you tell someone watching this who feels like they haven't been tested, they haven't gone through the adversity, and they feel like, it's holding them back or hindering them in life? How do they develop the edge the way guys like you and I have?
That's an easy one. You start getting yourself into the gym. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just it right there. Like all the adversity that I've gone through and the adversity that you've gone through, we don't have to face that same adversity anymore, right? But you want to stay sharp. And how do we stay sharp? We wake up early. We, get our cardio done in the morning, or go lift in the morning, get in the cold plunge. You seek adversity now, a healthy adversity.
Yeah.
Like we don't want to go back to addiction, or you don't want to go back to prison, right?
Yeah.
But those are the things that shaped us. But you can
Well,
continue to
yeah.
sharpen your tools.
And that's so good because I think people see, especially nowadays on social media, everyone's posting themselves working out, and being healthy is trendy right now, which is good. But people have a misconception. They think it's, like a self-centered thing, or look at me, look at how physically fit I am, look at how cool I am. And yeah, there's an aspect of that. You want to look good and feel good about yourself, but it's so much deeper than that. It calluses your mind. And so, like, let's talk about the guy who comes from adversity. The guy who comes from adversity and has been through stuff like Matt and I, we have such an edge on you pussies at home who haven't been through anything. And that's just the truth. Now, I don't wish you to go through what I went through. I don't wish you to experience that pain and that heartbreak that I went through. But, I'm grateful for the lessons that I learned. So it's like this double, it's this catch 22, right? Like, I don't want you to suffer. And I think about my kids a lot because I know what you have to develop within yourself to really be successful in life and to overcome a lot of the adversity. But I don't want my kids to suffer to learn those things. I don't want them to have to experience heartbreak and hardship to develop those characteristics like I did. So how can I, as a father and a leader, instill that in them without them having to experience the pain that I did? I always think about that. And that same goes for the guy who's at home right now who just feels like he doesn't have that drive. He didn't develop that grit. So he's suffering. He's struggling in life. Well, you got to put yourself in adversity, like Matt said, whether it's the cold plunge every morning at 4 a.m. just to discipline yourself, whether it's the gym every day to push heavy weight and feel that little bit of adversity, in your diet, having discipline there. You got to find ways to challenge and test yourself. And that's why I loved endurance training for so long, because when I was out on a 100-mile bike ride by myself, it was just me and my own will to keep going. When I was thirsty, when I was starving, when I felt like I was going to pass out, I could always go a little further. Same with running. Like Matt, we talk about running marathons all the time. You've run marathons. I've run marathons. It's the same thing. You can always do one more quarter mile or one more mile, and in those moments, it's you versus you. And that's really the ultimate test in life. It's you versus you. There's always going to be external circumstances, but when you develop that type of mentality where you're not going to quit and give up and you're capable of more, it changes the way you approach life events.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, I felt really blessed to run my first marathon, dude. And a lot of people ask me, what's the point of waking up at 3 a.m.? The marathon started at 4 in the morning. So, people be like, why are you waking up at 3 in the morning and going and running? It's like, whenever you prove to yourself you can do something like that day in and day out, you have a level of discipline and confidence about yourself you can pull from your tool bag when needed later on in life. Like, I learned more about myself in the last 8 miles when my hips were locking up, my knees were cramping. I wanted to quit. I could have got a ride, whatever it was, but I pushed through those last 8 miles. That's really when the pain started kicking in. And man, I was so proud of myself for that.
Yeah.
And when I want to, get through a moment now, when I don't want to do something or if something's difficult, I just, like if you can get through that, you can get through this.
Yeah, 100%. And same for me. When Preston, my youngest son, was born, I was training for an ultra marathon, and the only time I could run because he started waking up at like 5:30, and we had Scarlett, who was only 14, 16 months at the time. So I wasn't going to leave my wife at home by herself with two young kids crying and screaming. So I'd get up at 3:30 or 3 and run for an hour and come home, take a cold shower, and then I'd be taking care of Preston. And doing that every day over time, that the commitment and doing something difficult every day over time instills such a powerful form of discipline into your life that changes who you are. And it carries over into everything you do and how you operate. And then stuff that you once couldn't fix or figure out, let's say binge eating on food, or some of you guys look at porn all the time. You don't have self-control. When you develop discipline in an area of your life that's so profound, the way I just described, it's so easy to not do the shit that you don't want to do. It's so easy to say yes and follow through and keep those promises to yourself and be the guy you want to be. And that's what success is having that ability to control your thoughts and your actions and do things every day that you're proud of. And, here's the thing. When people say that, like, what's the point of running a marathon or getting up early? They are so far from understanding, like, what this experience is about. I feel bad for them. And those are the people that are going to look back on their life and go, oh my gosh, I had this beautiful opportunity to experience life and try things and test myself and push beyond my limits. And I just kept myself comfortable every day and didn't try. When I was in prison, I used to pray and dream about getting to run in the rain, because every day when it would rain, they'd lock down the yard and you couldn't go outside. And when you're in a cell, a cement block, a cement box with stainless steel, all you want to do is be out in nature and feel the wind, or smell the flowers, or like all the cliche shit, man. You want it so bad. And I remember I'd just sit out and stare out my window, and I'd envision being back out here on rainy days, just running. And it's like the Rocky mantra, like Rocky, like when you watch that movie, he's out running in the morning. Nothing's going to stop him. He's punching the meat. Like he's alive, dude. Like, so every time it would rain when I came home from prison, no matter if I ran the day before, no matter if my legs were sore, no matter if I was sick, I'd run, and I'd run like 10 miles every time. And I would just love it, because for me, it was so symbolic of freedom. And people, they miss this. They overlook the little things. They take for granted their life, and they make comments like that. Like, why are you doing that? Like, why aren't you, motherfucker? You think you're going to live forever? You think your legs are going to work forever? You think you're going to wake up next week? You don't know. Why are you not soaking up every precious moment of this life and just trying to experience everything you can? Because look at the person listening to this right now that's not doing that. You are going to be lying on your deathbed if you get to that old age and looking back on your life with so much regret for not trying harder, for not putting yourself out there more, for not going for it. It's going to eat you alive. And that's the main thing when we talk about like the description of this video, the art of not quitting up, or the power of not the power of not giving up, or the power of not quitting. I don't even think I said that right.
Something along those lines.
This is what it derives from, though. It's knowing what's at stake, knowing that pain, and nothing will fucking stop you, because you never want to get to a point again where you have brought that upon yourself. So you'll fight through any adversity, anything you're experiencing, because if you quit and give up, that's something that you'll regret for the rest of your life. And a lot of people, they don't know what's at stake, Matt. So it's like they make these decisions day by day and live in a way where they're not all in. And
a world of tomorrows.
A world of tomorrows, and a world where people don't really understand how precious this journey is. And that's why people who have been through really dark places, they have an edge, because they do understand, and they're not ignorant like a lot of people living right now.
Yeah, so many people are just going through the motions of life and not really paying attention to what's going on around them, and just live for the weekend, and just the average everyday life is not anything that I would want. I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah, if you're one of those people that live for the weekend, you just need to know that that's a red flag. If you're looking forward to Friday, I'm telling you, you're fucking up and you're living life wrong. I don't even think about what day it is. I know on the weekend I'm spending more time with my family, but dude, I don't even know if it's Monday or Tuesday right now. I think it's Friday. Like, I don't give a fuck. Every day is a blessing. Every day is a gift, and I'm on a mission, and I have so much clarity as to where I'm going. Every day is just an opportunity. So I get up with energy. I get up with focus. I'm ready to go to work. I'm ready to put out positive energy to the world. I'm ready to become my best self that day and live as that person. And so if you're looking forward to Friday because you get to check out from your life, why don't you ask yourself, why have I created a life that I want to check out from? Like, so many people do that. And it's because you quit and give up. It's because you stop dreaming big and believing in yourself. It's because you choose to settle. The peer pressure of society is going to push you to hold back. The peer pressure of all those around you gets most people to give up on themselves and their dreams and settle for a life that they don't really love or want. And that's disgraceful, because within all of you is the ability to continuously learn, continuously develop yourself, develop new skills, enhance the quality of your life. Like, you can do so much if you just show up every day with an open mind, willing to learn and willing to grow. And right now with the internet and all these skills that you're able to develop and all the information that you can access, there's no way you should be living a life that you hate. There's no way you should be living paycheck to paycheck broke for extended periods of time. And you need to recognize, like, the only reason you're doing that is because You fucking quit and gave up on yourself. And Matt and I were talking about this the other day. Like, we were like, dang, I kind of feel bad for people working 9 to 5s, because in the coaching space and in the world we're in, we see how much impact you can make, how much reach you have, and honestly, how much money you can make. Like it's night and day compared to somebody working at UPS or Vaughn's or something like that. And here's the thing, no disrespect to people working 9 to 5s. There's a lot of honorable individuals out there, men and women, who work hard. But times have changed. Here's the thing. At one time, you could work at a grocery store and you could have a mortgage and you could raise your family. But now you can't. Now the disparity between wages and what it costs to live is so great that there's no way you could work an ordinary 9 to 5 and provide for your family. So you need to evolve because the times have evolved. So that's the thing that stands out to me is like, Matt, we were talking about this. People that work 9 to 5s, just typical jobs. They're typically good people, dude. Like, but you have to, I question, like, okay, after X number of years at that job struggling, don't you sit down and look in the mirror and go, damn, I need to do something different. I
I
need,
don't.
I need to learn a new skill set. I need to get the fuck out of this like rut that I'm in.
So I don't know. I have two different views. Like I kind of go back and forth with this one. For one, we need all types of people in the world, right? You need people to work in every situation. And I think some people are just happy doing that stuff. If you're truly happy doing that, then that's perfectly okay. And some people aren't. If you're doing it and you're not happy, well, then you've got a problem. But if you're doing that, like let's say like being the garbage man. That was honestly your dream, and you're being the garbage man. Then you're living your purpose, right? Like that's awesome. But if you're doing that stuff and you hate it, well, then you need to do something to make a change.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing, like, you gotta take pride in what you're doing, whatever you're doing, it serves a purpose, but you gotta use these stepping stones in your life. So, like, I'll go back to my time in prison. I was working in the kitchen. I would take pride in what I was doing. When I'd mop the floor at the end of the day, I would mop that fucking floor like I was the best floor mopper in the world, and I was just lost in the moment. So like, same when I did tree work. I was making $1,000 a week, and I was just happy to be working with my family. But I took so much pride in my work ethic because I was representing my uncle, I was representing my dad, I was representing myself, my last name. So I learned that work ethic at a young age. Like, always do things to the best of your ability. Even right now, if you're in a job you don't love, do it to the best of your ability and tell yourself, okay, this work ethic is going to carry over into future opportunities. But then at the end of the day, don't go home and go drink with your buddies. Like, go crack open a book, go watch some YouTube videos, get a mentor, get some courses, study. There's so much information out there that can teach you how to be successful. And I'm living proof. Matt's living proof too. Like, dude, where we come from, we came from nothing, almost dead, almost losing our lives to prison, to drugs. Like, if we can learn the skill sets and develop the ability to create a life by design, everybody can. I'm not saying you guys all have to go out there and use the internet and be coaches and do what we do, but there's a ton of opportunities for you. And the thing is, this is why the title of this video is The Power in Not Quitting. It's not going to fucking happen overnight. It might take you a decade to finally get to that place where you feel like you're good, like that place you always wanted to be. It might take 15 years, but check it out. When you get there, you're not going to think about all the time it took to get there. You're going to be so grateful that you finally did it. You're going to be even more grateful that you didn't quit and give up. I promise you that. Like, I've had that feeling over and over, and it's the best feeling in the world. It's not the money. It's not the house. It's not the cars. It's inside your heart and soul, knowing you didn't quit and give up on yourself and your truth. And if you do, you can never erase that memory, and you're going to be haunted for the rest of your life. But if you're able to have the grit, the determination, the faith, and the ability to keep fighting, one day you're going to get into a place where you love yourself so much, and you're going to have so much gratitude in your life.
Well, dude, honestly, I was just thinking, like, I'm a little bit newer on this, right? So my story is maybe a little bit more relatable to some people. And less than 3 years ago, closer, October will be 3 years. When I first got sober, I didn't know what I was going to do. I had 2 felonies on my record, and it's hard to get a job, right? I started working for my buddy's moving company, making $500 a week. I was living sober living where rent was $950. Do the math. Like, I had nothing. You know what I mean? You tack on phone bill, gas, and some food, like, you're broke every month. And I didn't quit. What if I would have quit right there? I wouldn't be sitting here right now with you. But I just kept pushing. You know what I mean? I had places turn me down. I was trying to get back into the fitness industry. Gold's hired me and then told me, no, we can't. You have felonies. We can't hire a felon. And I just I just didn't quit. That was it. And all the while was doing the things that we were talking about. This was when I was training for the first marathon.
Yeah.
When I was in the gym every day. Like,
and that's why that stuff's so important, because it gives you like
that edge.
it gives you like a superpower.
Yeah.
You know, if I wasn't working out on my journey, I would have went back to drugs and alcohol, because the pressure and the stress gets so immense that it's fucking hard. And working out and the stuff that we do, it like alleviates that stress. So you can just get through one more day, right? And then one more workout to get through one more day, you know, and like one more month of struggling financially, and you worked out just to get through that 1 month. Like, it literally saves you, man. It really does. And, you know, I remember like Matt, like when I came home from prison, my first job was a personal trainer for another trainer. And I was making $1,700 a month. And I had my car payment and my rent. My rent was $700. My car payment, I think, was $700. So I had $300 left to live off of. And I had a phone bill. And dude, I would go through Whole Foods and be snacking on the chicken in there, right? Like, oh shit, left my wallet at home, right? But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But seriously, like, anybody that is struggling right now, or anybody that's been there and gone through it, like, you know, it's a part of the journey. And so it's important for us to consistently share these messages, because you're going to see me continuing to climb. You're going to see me and Matt continuing to crush it and change the world. Like, we have a massive vision and so much purpose. But as you do, I always want to remind people of like where we come from and how we got here, because anybody can create a life by design. Anybody can create that vision and bring it to reality, but it's not going to be easy. There's going to be those moments that you struggle. Guess what? Those are the reasons why people hire you and put you on stage, because you have 10 different times where you face tons of adversity, where you were broke, where you were broken, and you didn't quit and give up, and you still built that empire anyway. Who do you want to hear from? Somebody who's never been through shit, or someone who's been through everything and is still standing? And that's why when stuff happens to you in your life and you're facing adversity and you're going through all this stuff, dude, tell yourself this is a blessing in disguise. Tell yourself, I'm going to learn and grow through this. Tell yourself, this is actually going to help me. It's not going to hurt me. And it's literally your mindset and self-talk in those moments, and then the follow through and action, that's the determining factor between victim and victor. And you have to just know that you're your own coach in your life. And I tell Matt this all the time. I still coach myself. I still have moments where I have negative thoughts. I still have moments where I'm not feeling my best. He does too. The difference is we don't listen to that negativity. We don't follow through with negative action. We counter it with positive action that proves to ourselves deep down in our subconscious mind who the fuck we are. So you're going to have negative thoughts. You're going to have self-doubt. You're going to have fear. The difference is, you guys, you can't listen to those thoughts, and you can't reinforce them with actions that show that you believe in those thoughts and feelings, right? Your actions have to prove that you still are that motherfucker you say you want to be. And that's why getting up to go to the gym is so important the next day. After you get in a fight with your chick, or after you have a tough month or a tough day, whatever it is, still do the work, because in your subconscious mind, you're going to start to identify with that person over time. What do you got for that, Matt?
No, that was a good one, man. I mean, you covered everything.
Covered everything. Hey,
covered it all.
Blueprint for life, baby. Write that shit down. No, but seriously,
it's so true. Hey, you got to show up and put in the work regardless of how you feel, because just like you said, if whenever you don't, you continually don't do the things that you know you need to do, of course you're not going to have any fucking confidence, dude.
Yeah.
You're lying to yourself every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh,
Yeah.
I'll do it tomorrow. You continue to eat the shitty food. You continue to skip the gym. Continue to not do the things that you know you should be doing. You're going to lack confidence. Do the opposite. What do you get? You're going to be a very confident person. You build on that over
and it
time.
takes time.
Dude,
like how? Yeah, like
you tell me.
Matt's jacked and tan and showing up every day, and he's
and
learning skills.
And I still
it
have
takes
self-talk.
if like look at, like, we both used to party and we were wild, and I went to prison. We both did drugs. Like, we don't shy away from talking about the past. That's who we were. So I tell Matt all the time, like, for instance, 10 years of doing the wrong shit, right? 10 years of wiring your brain that way, 10 years of identifying with that person. And then all of a sudden, a year of sobriety or 2 years of sobriety and working out and doing the right thing, and you expect your whole life to change. It's like, no, it's going to take time. It's not going to take 10 years. But for anyone listening to this, and you're coming from a background where you weren't doing the right thing, and you know you weren't being the person you want to be, and then all of a sudden you're making a change, don't think you're going to just suddenly change your life and feel different after a month. Probably not even after a year. It takes repetition over long periods of time before you really start to identify with this newer, evolved, best version of yourself. And then once you do, though, it's solidified in your heart. You're like, I'm that fucking person, and I'm never going back.
I like analogies. So, like, let's use the analogy of a statue, right? In the old version of yourself, you're just this block. And now you're the craftsman, and every positive action that you're doing, every time you do the right thing, you're just chipping away and you're slowly building that perfect fucking sculpture. And one day you're going to get to look back and look at what you've built and just be so fucking proud of yourself, dude. And then you're just slowly fine tuning it, your destiny here and there over time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's a really good analogy, because that's what it's like. And you have to look for, okay, what are those big chunks that I can knock off right now? That's why sobriety is a superpower. Working out and being fit's a superpower. Disciplining yourself with nutrition and knowing how to eat's a superpower. Like, dude, I tell my coaching clients all the time. We work with a lot of very successful business owners, and they understand money, they understand numbers, but they don't understand how to fucking eat right or work out or take care of themselves. A lot of them don't.
No.
And I always tell them, dude, understanding nutrition and tracking your calories is like a 7 or 8 figure skill set. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, when you discipline yourself and you know how to eat right, number one, you're going to live a longer, healthier life. Okay. Quality of life is going to improve. But when you get your body to a place where you look in the mirror and you love yourself and you develop the discipline to eat right and say no to those cravings, which 99% of people in America can't do, they can't say no to the cookies and snacks late at night. Like, dude, you have such an edge on the whole world, because that discipline and that person you're creating, it's not just with food. It's not just with eating habits. It's with everything you do. You're going to be sharper in your business. You're going to be a better leader. When you speak, you're going to have more conviction. You're going to be a better version of yourself in your entire life. So nutrition by far is the hardest thing for people to figure out. And honestly, when I look at people who can't eat clean and they don't have that discipline, it's the same as a drug addict. You're just choosing a different substance. Like back in the day, when I'd start craving some pills or some alcohol, I'd go and fucking do it. I had no impulse control. Same as you. Late at night, when you want a snack and you know what's in the cupboard and you say, I'm not going to do it. Oh, well, maybe just a little bit. Oh, I'm not going to do it. Well, maybe just today, and then tomorrow I'll work out twice. Like, you're trying to negotiate with yourself. You're not in control. You're a victim of your own cravings, right? You have no impulse control. And then you break and you go have the snacks, and then you regret it and feel guilty after that. That's the same thing that a drug addict does when they relapse or when they continue to abuse and use drugs. That's why America is the fattest country on earth. That's why 40% of men are fat and obese. And that's why mental health is a big issue and why our kids are fucked up. It's all because the food that we're putting in our body. And I'm really passionate about this because I just got all my blood work done for me and my wife from Dr. J, our personal doctor. And he's also our business partner in Unstoppable. Guy's a genius. His blood work is so in depth. You literally see down to your cells, how your cells are functioning, if they're absorbing nutrients or not, if they're being damaged and harmed by the foods and stuff that you're putting in your body. And it just put me up on so much information and knowledge pertaining to how important nutrition is and how poisonous processed foods are, how bad seed oils are, how bad those fake artificial sweeteners are for you. You're drinking a Gatorade, you're putting poison in your body. Like even pre-workout, I got to get off that shit. It's not good for you. Even my Folgers coffee, right? Got to get rid of it. But I'm telling you, any processed food is going to damage your body. It's going to damage your gut health, and your gut health is correlated to your brain health and functioning. So when you're eating bad food, you're poisoning your mind indirectly. And people wonder why our kids say they have ADHD and they're anxious and they're all this stuff. Motherfucker, you live in America in the best time ever. What are you anxious about? We're poisoning ourselves. Our mental health is deteriorating because the quality of food is so low and poor and it's toxic. So if you're a parent and you're listening to this or someone who's passionate about helping people, you need to educate yourself about this. You need to lead by example, and we need to change the way things are done. Honestly, if I was president, fuck McDonald's, it'd be off the streets. No more McDonald's, no more Jack in the Box. I'm telling you, all the foods in the grocery store that say natural on it and they're supposed to be healthy, it's all false advertising. It's fake. I'd shut those fucking companies down. Some might call me a tyrant. I just really care about people, and I'm not going to let people poison other individuals in our country to make a buck. And that's what's happening. So I don't know. Maybe we got to come out with the unstoppable food products and shut all these fake motherfuckers down. Right? What do you think, Matt?
I'm just laughing at the wait, no more pre-workout comment.
I mean, we're going to come up with our own pre-workout. We're going to come up with our own supplement line. It's in the works right now. It's going to be Unstoppable 365, everything.
Quality product.
Quality, because most of the supplements out there and the stuff people are taking are such crap. Like the quality of the products is very low.
Yeah, no. I'm finishing out what I've got, and then I'm going to slowly.
Same here. I had an extra bottle. It was like Memorial Day, so it was to buy one get one free, right?
I just went on Bucked Up's website and bought all kinds of shit. So once it's gone, then we'll phase it out.
Yeah. So, but seriously though, what do you think about that? Since you've done the blood work with Dr. J and we're diving more into nutrition, like it's a big deal, right? It's not just like, oh, I eat clean because like Some people I feel like they think, oh, he eats clean. He thinks he's better than everyone. No, it's like this literally is going to damage your cells and your gut and your mental health and everything. And if you have kids, you're going to fuck your kids over long term.
Well, I mean, I've just kind of experimented on myself over time, and I do know that when I eat clean and eat healthy, I feel better, I look better, I'm operating at a higher level. And when I eat shitty food, the exact opposite happens. So which one do you want? Everything comes at a cost. The cost of feeling and looking good comes at or the comes with the price of eating healthy foods and doing the things that you need to do. So it's just you kind of got to pick your heart, I guess.
Yeah.
And I would rather look and feel good and eat clean. And all these foods they have out now, they're highly palatable. They're meant to make you want to consume more, just like drugs do.
Dude,
you eat like
they
study delicious.
They study how to make you addicted to their products.
It's psychology.
So imagine if a drug dealer was out there trying to make their products more potent and addictive, we'd throw their ass in prison because it's killing people. Well, the difference between like heroin or fentanyl and then Fruity Pebbles, fentanyl kills you instantly. Fruity Pebbles kills you over time, but you're suffering every step of the way. Because when you're eating that way and not taking care of yourself, don't tell me you're happy. You don't even know what happy is if you think you are. Like, you're not. You're suffering. You're miserable. I know it. I talk to people all the time, and it's because they're not taking care of themselves and they're putting poison in their body.
Well, they're happy in the moment.
The moment it's pleasure versus like actual joy, And you're not happy the next day when you're feeling like crap or you're shitting your pants and stuff. But dude, honestly,
when you're looking in the mirror, you're stepping on the scale.
Seriously. So I want to know, because we're on Instagram Live right now. I'm seeing some people on here. Does anyone have questions for me and Matt related to nutrition, fitness, mindset, anything in your personal life that you're going through? Some of the blood work we're doing with our doctor and how it's helping us. We're an open book, so you can ask us anything for the last 5 minutes. And same on Facebook too. Is anyone even on Facebook, Simi? He said, yeah, there's a lot of people.
27,000?
Otherwise, we could wrap this up. And Matt, let's see. How do we feel about fasting? I mean, fasting's amazing. I think it depends on your goals.
Yeah.
Is it okay to eat once a day? Again, it depends on your goals. Like,
no, I don't agree with that. I don't think you should eat
once a day. Some people do that. Like I see Andrew Tate and other guys, they just eat one big meal at the end of the day. Because when you don't eat, you actually have more energy and clarity. Like that's why people do intermittent fasting, or if you've done a fast, there's some times where you feel like crap, but sometimes during it, you feel really heightened and alert and energized. So fasting's really good. I think you could do a 24-hour fast once a week, maybe a 48-hour fast once every couple months. And then once or twice a year, you can do a prolonged fast, which is 72 hours and beyond. But check this out. Gary Brecka and Dana White, they made this pretty popular earlier in the year. They had Dana White do an 86-hour fast. Gary Brecka did. And the reason for it is because science and research shows it prevents cancer, Alzheimer's, and other preventable diseases from killing you by 70%. Because when you fast, your cells actually start to eat themselves and they target the damaged cells first. It's called, I always mispronounce this name, autophagy. So Google autophagy. A guy won a Nobel Peace Prize for this research in Japan. But so you literally like restore and rejuvenate your body by doing that 86-hour fast. And I did it earlier in the year. Matt did it. Zimmy, our camera guy, did a 7-day fast. 7-day fast with just electrolytes and a little bit of bone broth to protect your gut lining. But and then someone asked, is it okay to eat once a day? Again, it depends on your goals. Like if I eat once a day, I'm going to turn into a skeleton. I'm trying to stay jacked. You know what I mean? So I eat 6 times a day, smaller meals. But once a day is fine as long as it's good quality food and you're getting all your nutrients. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it does depend on your goals. My goals, they don't align with that. You know what I mean? I'm trying to stay jacked. And I honestly feel better when I eat to like 70, 80% full. And I feel like my metabolism like kickstarts. If I eat breakfast, I'm hungrier sooner than if I didn't eat and then I fasted till lunch. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I feel like for me, it kind of kickstarts my metabolism. My body's operating more efficiently when I just eat, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 small meals a day.
Zimmy, what's Sun Warrior pre-workout?
Just hold off until the Unstoppable stuff.
Yeah, we got the Unstoppable stuff. I just like I like to see the ingredients if it shows it. Let's see. So organic, natural type flavors. This is really good question because what you want to look for on these labels, when you see the word natural type flavors, that's a red flag, because what the hell is a natural flavor? If it was coconut, they'd say coconut. If it was orange, they'd say orange. So that's some type of artificial sweetener added, and that's not good for your body. I just learned about how this affects your gut lining and leads to leaky gut. So that's something that I'd try to avoid. Citric acid, steviol glycosides, organic monk fruit extract, tree nuts. Yeah, so I mean, it's not the worst, but it's not the best. I don't think you're gonna find a healthy pre-workout, honestly. I think a cup of black coffee and some honey is probably the best type of pre-workout you could have. So what we're trying to do here is be optimized as much as possible within reason. I'll tell you, I still been taking my pre-workout because it gets me in the zone for my lifts, and I lift heavy, me and Matt are intense. So getting off that and finding an alternative is going to be a challenge.
I did go 6 months recently without pre-workout before we did all this work with Dr. J.
Yeah.
And it was rough, but when I came back, yeah, it gets me pumped, dude.
Yeah, like I couldn't go do leg day with just a cup of black coffee. I mean, I could. I mean, I'd have to adapt. I don't know
Salt
how.
and water, honestly, and some electrolytes. That's a
Cold plunge. Do a cold plunge an hour before the workout too. That'll get you going. Okay. Anybody more questions? I don't think there's a lot of people on here live anymore. We'll wrap this one up. But yeah, the message, you guys, is like, dude,
fucking quit.
don't quit. We always say this. You get one life, man. And if you're sitting there knowing that there's something more for you out there, you feel that in your heart. Like I felt that way for so long. And I ignored that calling. I ignored that voice within myself. And I suffered immensely because of it. Thank God I got a second chance. And that's why I'm here every day to share this message, to resonate with you guys through our stories, to get to you. I want to get you thinking and feeling on a deeper level so you can change your life. Because the goal is that you get to the end of your life and you're at peace and you have nothing but memories of how you really lived. Not begging God for a second chance because you held back, you said tomorrow, you procrastinated, and you just were one of those weekend warrior motherfuckers. Like, you're better than that. You deserve to experience life on a higher level than that. And we want you to do that. So share this with anybody who needs to be inspired today. Subscribe, like, do all the bullshit, right? This will be on the podcast, all the platforms. We need your guys' support because we're going to change the world. I guarantee it. We're so convicted, nothing's going to stop us, but we need your support because more people need to hear this message and tap into this energy. So love you guys. Have a great day. Go crush it in your life.